Hi there. Today it is a beautiful day. It's the 22nd of January 2021 and I am taking an opportunity to go and have a little look at the hive entrance and see what's going on. With the sun out today, there's been a little bit of activity. Although there was a very deep frost overnight, it's the sun has given some real warmth to the day, and you can hear there's a most beautiful bird singing up there in the pear tree, and it's good to see a few of the bees out. Also beneath there are a lot of dead bees on this log, and that's been a real source of interest for me, as this is my first winter with the Layens hive. If you are new to my videos, then I'll tell you a little bit of the background. This is my first year of beekeeping with the Layens hive. I'm here in the UK on the border between England and Wales, and I keep my Layens hive in my garden. I had been inspired a year ago to begin beekeeping, and after going to Dr. Leo Sharashkin's lecture on natural beekeeping with a Layens hive, I decided that was the way I was going to go, and I bought a Layens hive from a commercial bee supplier and got it ready. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to go. I ordered some bees, and of course in 2020 the coronavirus happened, and my bee order could not be fulfilled. I'd wondered whether at that time there was therefore going to be really no opportunity for keeping bees in 2020, but then I'd left my beehive outside of my back door, and one day in April, when I was sort of wandering about doing my household business, I'd seen that there were a few bees going in and out of the hive that I'd bought. Well, following what I'd learnt from Dr. Leo's course, I thought, well, perhaps there might be a swarm about to arrive. Well, it didn't arrive straight away, but on the 30th of May 2020, a natural swarm arrived into my garden and moved into this hive, and they've been here ever since. It's been a really wonderful experience, but this is my first winter. So, as I've said before, I never hold out to be an expert, but this is a journey which I'm sharing with people in the hope that other people might like to start beekeeping with a Layens hive. And over this winter, I hadn't imagined that I would learn as much as I've learnt, and also that I would have seen the bees as much as I have. I think it's been quite a mild winter here in the UK, with the odd quite deep frost. As I said, there was one last evening, but I have regularly come out to see a lot of activity at the hive entrance. Also, as I said before, lots of dead bees or dying bees on that log that is placed a bit like a landing area near the hive entrance. And I found it quite fascinating, really, because I made the decision, I gave it some considerable thought, to leave the hive entrance at about 1 centimetre squared, because I'd seen the bees removing their deceased relatives, sometimes 2 at a time. So it might have been 2 bees carrying one dead bee. And I thought I needed to ensure that the size of the hive entrance would be sufficient for them to carry on doing that over the winter. And obviously they have been able to do that. They have been removing their dead over the whole season. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because when I haven't seen bees flying around the entrance, what has given me the sign of life has been in fact the sign of death, because there has been some new little bodies on that log surface to give me a signal that the business of the hive is continuing. So that's been quite a learning point for me. The size of the hive entrance, however, still has concerned me to one extent, in that other beekeepers have talked quite lively terms about the damage that mice can cause. So I have wondered whether really my hive has been vulnerable to a mouse intrusion for this winter. I'm not really sure, but I'm not sure whether I would be willing to restrict their entrance and access to stop a mouse coming in. I think I might just have to, well, accept the loss if that happens. I'm not sure, but again, as I go along, I am learning and reviewing and always researching. One other topic I thought would be worth raising at this winter video would be the placing of the hive. I always enjoy your comments and your questions on the YouTube notifications, and a couple of people have wondered about the positioning of the hive. As you can see and hear right now, I am on a road. But just to clarify, so this is my house and my garden. I'm here in a town, in a largish garden for a town centre garden, and we're on this road now. It's not a big road, and the town that I live in is a country town. So we're not talking about, you know, dual carriageways going through. Also, just over this little wall that you can see there is no pavement, so there aren't people walking just right next to the hive. And so there's not been basically any risk. And as you know, I sit right next to the hive. These are very placid bees, and I've not been given, in terms of my experience, any signal that I should have any concern about the bees being aggressive. There's just been nothing. And I think also, if you observe what's from my videos, what the general temperament of the bees have been in all my filming, I think a lot of you have agreed how calm they are even in the inspections. But the other question was, some people said, oh, why did you put the bees there? It's so noisy with all these cars going by. And then, which is a fair question. And I have to then explain that I didn't put them there. The hive was placed in the garden. It was actually, first of all, in a sunny spot. And after 5 weeks of it being in a sunny spot with scout bees coming to and fro, the scout bees had not, there was no swarm turning up. And when I'd worked out that a little bit of dappled shade might be more attractive to a colony, I moved it into the dappled shade where it is now, and then within 24 hours a colony turned up and moved in. So they chose their position and they have been there. So I've not inflicted that position on them. And yes, there are cars going by, but they live with it. They seem to be bees that have adapted to some level of urban noise in my garden. So and hopefully long may that continue. And here's one of the girls now. She just flopped out of the hive entrance and then just landed in a bit of a wet puddle. So I've just scooped her up. She's just having a little checking out my hand, and hopefully when she's gathered herself she might make her way off. So bless her. But this is how they've been. I've just enjoyed being out with the bees so much, and so have my children. But just to finish off, while I'm just entertaining my little guest, the last part of my video is that I will continue to do my research. I was lucky enough for Santa to bring me Keeping Bees with a Smile. So I've got my reading set out. I've got quite a way through it, and I'm really enjoying that book. I would say to anybody who is thinking about keeping bees in a Layens hive, this is a great read. I just love the whole tone of it, both telling the story in such a bright and accessible way, but also full of real, real facts that you can work with. So I'm really enjoying that. And isn't it that winter is that opportunity, isn't it, to review our thoughts, to think about what we've done and what we're going to do. I've ordered a couple of I've ordered one Layens hive. I'm thinking about ordering another, and planning my garden to perhaps attract another swarm for the spring. Now I know that you can attract swarms even in a garden in a town, and what an absolute pleasure that has been. So goodbye from me and from this dear little girl here. And if you like my channel, then please subscribe. As the weather warms up, I'll hopefully hopefully the colony will continue to thrive, and I'll be doing some hive inspections into the spring. So best wishes, and Happy New Year. Bye bye.